Welcome back to our channel, and this week we're going to take a look at the Zeus as well as MFDs coming to Star Citizen in this newest patch.
The RSI Zeus Mark II is a reimagining of the original RSI Zeus. The Zeus was the first mass-made human exploration ship that was capable of doing quantum travel.
We didn't want to just make the Zeus again. We wanted to kind of pay homage to what made the Zeus important, what made it iconic back then. We wanted to kind of give that an update and kind of bring it up to modern day visuals and make sure it really feels RSI.
It's RSI style, but we feel it's almost an improvement upon the style. It's sort of an evolution of the style. And so players will appreciate the consistency with other RSI ships, but you can see the technological advancement of RSI.
The Zeuses are a great stepping stone ship. So you've got your starter ship originally, you've dipped your toes in a few gameplay loops, and you just want to be able to do a bit more. The Zeuses allow you to do that with some friends.
So yeah, it supports up to 3 crew members, but you can fly it yourself if you want. And if you've got a buddy, they can man the turrets.
The Zeuses, for me, are probably some of the best looking ships we've ever produced for Star Citizen. I think they really set a new visual standard in both their...
It really is a nice looking ship. Like, it's clean, but yet looks like sporty and like just like advanced, like they said.
I would agree. They do look very clean and sleek. Nice big windows that you can look out of. Let's see what the rest of it looks like the inside, maybe what type of guns it has. I know the chart says what type it supposedly has, but we'll see what it actually comes with.
Shape and style. So when we release the Zeus, it comes with both the ES and the CL both together in the same patch. The ES is the exploration-focused variant of the Zeus, so it has a modest-sized cargo bay, larger hydrogen and quantum fuel tanks, a larger radar, and a more spacious living area. The CL, the cargo version, maximizes its cargo capacity.
I wonder if they're going to bring in the living quarters and hygiene, if that's actually going to play a role. Because otherwise the size of the living spaces really doesn't matter, except for if you like to sit around on a bench.
Personally, I like having either a bench or a bed or something to sit on, so when you drop in and out of hyperspeed, you don't just get bumped on your butt. So it's nice to have something, but yeah, it doesn't need to be like fancy living quarters like he was saying.
Yeah. I mean, you like sitting on that because like co-pilot seats are freaking useless currently and turrets all suck. So it's like, why might as well sit on the bench and go do something else while someone ferries you to the location. But hey, at least a rock could fit in it, so you do some mining. I think that's a rock.
Yeah, it looks like the rock fits, and it looks like the ramp is actually designed to fit a vehicle, so you don't have to do some weird jumpy maneuver to get it up the ramp. So that's very nice.
I wonder if that's what those little cutouts there by the ramp, like right here, where to make it a little easier for the wheels with the entities so they don't collide as much. Might line up pretty well, but it looks like it'd be a tight fit anyway through the door.
Does that by shunting the sort of central bulkhead towards the front of the ship, so that increases the cargo capacity from 32 to 128 SCU at the expense of just really...
All right, so it can fit 2 of the really big boxes, 8 of the flatter ones, and a bunch of the ones on the sides. So it's actually very similar to the Freelancer. The Freelancer just has that stupid door in the between that you can't fit boxes. So this might actually be better in terms of cargo-wise, just getting stuff in and out, than the Freelancer.
Yeah, but looking back at that door from the other angle earlier, how the heck did he get those big 32 SCU boxes through that door? That must be a pain. You gotta line it up perfectly. Unless it has side doors that I didn't see.
I don't think it'd be too bad because one, it does snap to grid, so you just have to kind of barely get it in there and it'll snap. So I think that will be fine.
That's true. They added that nice functionality now that it really works in this latest update with the cargo update. It's really nice.
Cramming in the living quarters to be much more compact.
The exterior of the Zeus ES has got that very...
So all I have to say about this shot is if anyone is above you and shoots at you, you're just a huge target. So combat wise, you have to keep people in front of you or behind you. Because if they're at an angle, it'll be much easier to hit you.
Yeah, it really reminds me of a stingray. Like, you're good from the side, you're nice and flat, but top or bottom, you're kind of screwed.
Yep. And to be honest, those front guns do look pretty small, and it looks like you're only getting 2 there. So that's, I would say, pretty weak for an ES. I don't know they'll tell us what size it is going to be, but we'll see.
Very kind of iconic RSI arrowhead shape.
We tried to stick to what was like the homage that the concept made of the first Zeus.
It keeps the kind of central fuselage. You've got this big kind of central mass with these lovely kind of quite fast and aggressive looking wings. And they kind of just help to make it feel quite aggressive and quite sharp, which I think builds on what RSI as a brand are kind of really about.
The big details on the flat surfaces, the mix of materials, I think is very well balanced.
I'm still a massive fan of the underside. Undersides of our ships sometimes get a little bit underlooked or overlooked. Yeah, but I think the underside, the belly, originally the plan was for it to be kind of completely smooth and completely all one surface, but as we started to work it up, the artists that were working on it were kind of like, oh yeah, can we add a little bit of recesses, can we add a little bit of relief into this shape, just to kind of help build on the believability, and I think it was a real success.
So weaponry-wise, across all of them, the pilot has access to twin size 4 guns.
Enemy down.
For a $200 ship.
Yeah, that feels kind of like, oh, that's a cute attempt if you're in a pickle to get away, but not really that useful. I wonder if they're going to have like some turret seats with better guns, kind of like the Hurricane. The pilot has mediocre guns, but the top turret has like really good guns. So we'll see.
Yeah, for like an extra $50 or so, you get the Corsair with a ton of size 5s. So I don't know. I don't know where this is going to fall into play. And you get more cargo as well.
And it has a very similar-ish design. Looks just as cool. Fits the same amount of people. So unless you're really an RSI fan, what's the big incentive for this ship?
Yeah, they're showing combat, but it's supposed to be explorer ship, not combat either. So it's just kind of a weird role to show off. I don't know.
And the side seats have access to the remote turrets.
When we look at the difference between the ES and the cargo, with the cargo, we wanted to add a little bit more structure and believability.
That actually looks super useful. The positioning of that looks like you can actually put cargo in and out of the ship. Unlike the Caterpillar that you can't even see inside the side of the ship.
Yeah, and the fact that it's like a multi-joint arm that can move around and see like outside, inside, turn to the side. That is actually really nice. Now, can they rework it on the other ships that only have it like facing outward? That'd be great.
Yeah, I want to say fix it on all the ships, but a lot of them you have really bad visibility that make the tractor beam pretty useless.
Into the exterior of the ship. This is supposed to carry a lot more weight, so we wanted to kind of bulk up the main structural points. So we've got some large additional bracing down the center. And then the other thing that a cargo version is going to require is some additional thrust. So we want to kind of bulk up the main thrusters at the rear that allow you to kind of take off. And those kind of downward pointing thrusters have grown in size and add to that believability that this vehicle can lift a bit more weight than the base version.
Now, the thrusters are cool and all, but when am I ever going to stand under my ship to look at, ooh, I have bigger thrusters than the guy next to me?
Well, it's meant so you can have the feel, because eventually they want to add in weight, so when you're loaded versus unloaded, you'll take off faster. Also, your thrusters are supposed to burn out if you overuse them, so there's that too.
Yeah, that's a good point. But currently, it's like a, oh, cool, I have it factor, but not very useful.
Yeah, I would agree, unless it adds like super maneuverability, but what's the point of that in a cargo ship?
So if we start at the front of the ship, it's quite a tight space. One of the things that we kind of really realised early on with the vehicle is that we crammed a lot of stuff into the space that we had to play with. So the cockpit is quite tight. You've got a nice kind of 3-person cockpit up the front. And the seating arrangement echoes that kind of arrow shape that we see on the exterior of the ship. And that just helps to make the pilot have the important up front seat, but also just ties everything together a little bit, which is lovely. As we go back through the ship, we go into the airlock and the engineering area. This area changed quite a bit during the vehicle's development. We actually opened this space up a little bit. We took out one of the bulkheads.
I'm actually kind of liking the compact view of the ships. Like everything kind of near each other. You can get in, get out pretty easily. It's a straight line to the exit. That is nice compared to something like the Redeemer. Or not the Redeemer, the Reclaimer, that's like a maze.
One of the things we realised as we kind of got into production was that there was maybe a few too many doors. This really was the ideal place to kind of remove one of those and open that area up a little bit. So we've got this engineering section that has the kind of main docking collar and also has the ladder exit. So we've got our kind of 2 front exits on the vehicle. And then as we go...
I hate ladders. The animations take way too long. I always go down them backwards.
Hey, but at least it has 2 different exits, even on a smaller ship. I could think of at least one other ship that could benefit from another exit than just one elevator. So at least there's multiple options here. And that other ship is being the Caterpillar that has 1 elevator, and it's not even a convenient spot.
Now the Caterpillar has all the bay doors you can just jump out of. This one also technically would have 3 exits because it's got the airlock as well that you can just sprint out of or jump out of.
Out, yes, but how am I going to get in real quickly?
Yeah, if you're not in space, that'd be hard.
Back through the corridor section, we have like a bit of a crossroads, so you can either go into the kitchen area, which still has its nice window and looks out and it's beautiful and perfect.
I want each of those refrigeration areas to be like a simple inventory system where it has like volume, and when you put stuff in it, it automatically organizes it in the actual refrigerator or whatever they want to call it, and then you can just open it and like grab things. I think it'd be a lot better than physically, you know, looking at it in your hand, trying to place it somewhere. That's a pain. So we'll see if they actually implement a better way to place things inside your kitchen.
Or on the right, we've got the habitation area where we've got 3 beds, toilet, a nice little seating area, lockers, and everything you need really in terms of a hab.
Get out!
I wonder if that's a working shower because they are adding hygiene, or because they're adding maybe the ability to take showers and go to the bathroom. Maybe it'll be like Ark and we'll just walk around and poop.
Except for you're wearing a spacesuit and you don't want to get it dirty, so I guess you'll take a daily shower if you're in space for too long and you forgot to, you know, go.
Get out, get out!
And then as we go into the back of the ship, that's really where we get to our larger ship components and our cargo area. With the cargo version, the Clipper, there's obviously a lot more space dedicated to cargo compared to the base version. To achieve that, what we've had to do is adjust some of the kind of like the rear layout of the ships.
We had to rearrange the components so that they're closer up to the doorway, and we had to move the weapon locker from the corridor into the actual cargo holds, so there was a lot of rearranging.
But what that does buy us is enough space to fit the kind of...
My only issue with rearranging components and stuff is that's a fundamental rewiring and harness of the ship. So if they're going to go down that route, it would pretty much be its own thing. It wouldn't be the same model.
Yeah, so you're basically doing extra work for something that should be pretty much the same with like a little addition. They could have just made, you know, the cargo one, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 meters longer. Problem solved. Keep everything else the same. Save yourself some work.
Yeah, it's like the Forerunner. They have different models, but it's not like they move the engine to the back in one of them.
Extra cargo in. We've also had to sacrifice some of the kitchen area. In the Habitation, you lose the sofa and the nice seating area, but on the positive, we get much more cargo space, which for kind of a dedicated cargo ship is the most important thing.
You'll notice that on the floor, there'll be blue trimming exactly where the player can place cargo. It'll be a lot easier for the player to know where you can access the components versus where you can place cargo on the sides.
This has been a great first full ship from concept to release for the Montreal vehicle team.
This is one ship that took an entire year to build. Like, the amount of work that goes into these ships is insane, both in art and design.
They built on kind of what they'd learned with the cutters and really just done a fantastic job in taking what was the original vision of the ship and really delivering it in something that I think it looks great, it should play great, and I think they just did a fantastic job across the board.
To me, the final product shows there's nothing in any other game that can come close to the level of detail, the amount of thought that got put into every button, every component bay, everything, is in its place.
So the Zeus is another great addition to the fleet of ships in Star Citizen, and being RSI, it obviously has that special touch, sharing the name with our company and founder. And we are excited to see this ship set foot in the verse and push along the RSI style ahead of a big year for RSI ships.
Ships don't set foot, John, they fly.
Got little feet.
Just being argumentative.